Hi everyone, so I thought I would do a little story time today because I have managed to do something quite silly recently. I drunk texted my Uber driver. I probably should give you some background to how that managed to happen. It was very embarrassing, I have to say. Basically, I was on a date and I had arranged the date through Tinder, so we didn't exchange numbers, we just planned it all through Tinder and decided to meet up in town. So the date went okay, we had drinks, and then towards the end of the date, I decided to order an Uber to go home. And while we were waiting for the Uber to arrive, my date had given me his number. He had said, okay, do you want my number, because the date went okay, and just to chat again. Rather than chatting on Tinder, it would be a little bit easier. And I have to point out that I had gotten quite drunk during this date. I don't normally drink, and we kind of wandered around trying to find somewhere to go. And I had suggested a cocktail bar, which probably wasn't the best idea, considering that when I was going out on the date, I initially had planned not to really drink much, not to get drunk. So a cocktail bar probably wasn't the best choice, but it was somewhere I wanted to try for a while. So we went to the Anchor Line in Glasgow, which do amazing cocktails. We ended up having a couple, but that got me very drunk. Like, I wasn't that drunk, but I was pretty drunk for what my standards usually are, because as I say, I don't drink much, and I definitely felt like quite drunk. So what happened was, when the Uber arrived, the Uber driver had called me to let me know that he was there, just from like an unknown number, or like a mobile number that I didn't recognise. So I had answered it and said, I'm just behind you, I'm here. So I don't think I really remembered the call that much, because I had seen the Uber pull up and the Uber hadn't seen me. So the call was just really 2 seconds to be like, look, I'm walking, I'm just behind you. So I get in the Uber and we're driving home, driving back to mine, and I think, okay, well, maybe I'll text my date and let him know that I had a nice time. So I pull open my recent calls list, because the date that I was on, the guy that I was on the date with, when he gave me his number, he had actually miscalled me, or either I miscalled him. I can't remember what one it was, but either way, we'd miscalled each other just so that we could give the other person the number. So I knew this, and I just went into my calls and thought, okay, the last number that's there must be his, because that's the last person that I had a kind of call with. So I then decided that I wanted to WhatsApp him, because I prefer texting and WhatsApp. I just think it's a little bit easier, and you can see their display picture and stuff, so it's just a little bit better than just regular texting. So I tried to WhatsApp him without actually saving his number first, and when I done that, it made me call him a couple of times. So I called him and then hung up, and then tried to text again, but I just called him. And then I was like, oh no, he's going to think that I'm like deliberately trying to call him. So then I just decided to send him a regular text, because I was like, well, the WhatsApp thing isn't working, it's not letting me just send a message. So I sent him a regular message and just said, hey, sorry, I tried to call you on WhatsApp a few times. I had a really nice time. And then hit send and was just enjoying the ride home, when I got another text message from a number that I didn't recognise. And this number, a different number to what I just texted, this number was my date. I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of that he had a nice time, or just like a general kind of text that you send someone after a date. But then I was confused. I was like, didn't I just text him? Why is he texting me from a different number? And for a while I couldn't process it. I was like, he's gave me a different number, but then than is his, like what is going on here? So then it still took me another few seconds to actually think, okay, what is happening? Like I then went on to thinking, who did I last call that I didn't save, who I accidentally just texted instead of him? And then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm in the Uber and I've just texted my Uber driver. Like I just remembered that he had missed called me to let me know he was there and that we spoke. And I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing. And I looked to like the front driver's seat and seen that he had his phone on a little stand thing. He was using that for directions. And I was just like, oh, sorry, by the way, I think I might have texted you by mistake. And he was just like, I think he just said okay or something like that. He didn't really chat to me at all throughout the journey. Like, you know, we never once really made any conversation throughout the full Uber journey, apart from me telling him that I'd texted him by mistake. So I was quite embarrassed at that point. Luckily we weren't too far away from my home, but I was still embarrassed and I thought, at least I've apologised, you know, he doesn't think that I'm deliberately texting him while in the car with him. But then I get home and I think the next day or a couple of days later I checked my Uber rating, and before that I had 5-star rating, I had top rating on Uber, and now it was like 4.73 or something like that. And I was like, what? He has actually downgraded me. He's actually, you know, rated me lower stars because I texted him by mistake. And I was kind of like, why? Like, I was polite, I apologised about it. Yeah, I was just thinking, what was the point in that? Why give me a low rating just because I drunk texted you about while in the taxi with you? Like, it's not that bad, is it? At least I apologised. At least I was polite about it. But yeah, I just thought that was a little bit harsh. I thought it was a little bit harsh to give me a low rating after that, because I'm pretty sure I tipped him. I always tip Uber drivers. So I would have tipped him and I would have given him 5 stars. I usually do that anyway, unless there was something that I really didn't like, but I don't think I've ever really gave a low rating other than 5 stars to an Uber driver. So yeah, I was just a little bit like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing, and made me feel a little bit worse, a little bit more embarrassed about it than I would have if he just gave me 5 stars. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that story with you guys because it does kind of make me laugh. It does make me laugh now, even though it was a little bit embarrassing at the time. So let me know in the comments, like, your similar stories, if you've had any kind of mishaps when you've been texting someone and texted the wrong person. I'd be interested in hearing those. And give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.